had some technical difficulties with the system today. Old Marine Corps thing, improvise, adapt, and overcome. So I think I killed my battery yesterday doing a long disability video, but we are live and answering all your questions on Social Security, Medicare, all the rest of it. So I saw some people that were already in. Let's see here. So we'll wait for them to join back. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. All right, so yeah, I killed my battery on my my little wireless microphone yesterday doing a long disability video. So improvise, adapt, and overcome. Okay, so we are here. I had some, hey Brahma, what's up? Somebody said, what's up? All right, so I had someone ask me a question. Hopefully they switched over to this one, but in the chat, it was a question about the widow's cap and railroad. And yeah, you know, if the thing about the railroad board is, so Social Security has their retirement system and the railroad has their retirement system, and it's the only one like this where Social Security employees, if anybody comes in and they say, you know, me or my ex-spouse work for the railroad, we have to call the railroad and see who has jurisdiction. It's a very, very strange, convoluted, crazy system. So yeah, if your particular case, the Social Security has jurisdiction on your particular case, then the widow's cap applies. If the railroad does, then I'm not sure exactly how they're going to adjudicate that, or whether there's a widow's cap on that. So yeah, super long story short, I can tell you the railroad board, if they have jurisdiction, they will be able to help you out on that one. So sorry about that. All right, I just put up a short little video on, there's a Supreme Court case coming up based on the Chevron doctrine, where it basically says, you know, there's, you know, as I've talked about, you know, Social Security has exceptions to the exceptions, and who decides those exceptions? Expert within Social Security. That's why there's, you know, but there's still unbelievable amount of exceptions, 20,000 exceptions. But if the Supreme Court case overrides this Chevron doctrine, then essentially political appointees will be able to make those decisions, and you just might get, you know, okay, you know, now it's 20,000 pages. It might be, you know, 40,000, 60,000, 80,000 pages. And if you think customer service is terrible now, just wait. It's going to get 10 times worse. Because the Social Security employees are going to have to go through, you know, 100,000 pages of, you know, it says, okay, you know, you can get benefits here. You have to have a 10-year marriage, except for this one little place in West Virginia because this one politician made the change. And yeah, it's going to get to be a nightmare. So customer service is going to, yeah, revel in the awesome customer service Social Security provides right now, because yeah, it might get 100 times worse. So hopefully it doesn't. So there's that. Hey, sweet bug. All right, when you retire from the post office and start getting Social Security, will either one be affected by the other, like shorter pay, the other? Nope. Yeah, that's another strange agency, the post office, you know, because they have to self-fund and all kinds of different stuff. Yeah, everybody, please, I got 30 or 40 people here. Everybody click like, so this goes out to more people, and more people get help. And the people that are, yeah, that I messed up on the audio, hopefully they jump over here on this live. But all right, yeah, the post office, I know the post office, was it last year or this, I think it's effective this year, that the post office now has to, the retirees now have to get Medicare once they hit 65. Again, it's the, you know, typical one government agency putting charges and costs over to another agency. So yeah, that's a new change for the post office. Yeah, thank you for everybody likes like. Julie, hey, how you doing? From Lebanon. All right, Lebanon, in an American city, or Lebanon, Lebanon. All right, let's see here. What other kind of questions do we have? I always got tons of questions on the videos. All right, we've got a question here. Is Aloha, Dr. Weir. It's from Hawaii. I've been on SSI because of Social Security claims. I only have 36 quarters of work instead of 40. I know I have way over 40 quarters, but the IRS claims they don't have access to old files, and Social Security claims they can only go by IRS numbers. So many missing quarters, reduction of, yeah. Yeah, the Social Security Administration has to go by, oh, that's awesome. I was reading her question on the video, and then she popped up the same question. You see, great minds think alike. I like this. Is that awesome timing or what? But yes, yeah, unfortunately, in order to provide that proof for Social Security, it has to go through the IRS. So Social Security needs proof. So like people that are self-employed, and they're like, oh yeah, I worked and I made, $2 million. But, they expense it all, and so they didn't pay any FICA taxes. So it has to go through the IRS. So you can, on the IRS website, they don't have any, yeah, that doesn't make any sense that they don't have old files. Of course they got old files, old files going back to probably Al Capone, right? So you can actually go on the irs.gov website. I'm trying to think what the technical term is. It's like a transcript of what you paid into the IRS. You can request that, and for whatever particular years or your entire career. And once you get that, then you can take it down to the Social Security Administration, and they can see about adding it to your work. So yeah, if you're only receiving SSI because you're not insured, but you also have to understand that, if you're receiving SSI and you're receiving, was it 934 or something this year? If you're receiving 900 from SSI, and then you become qualified for retirement because you found your 40 quarters, that's only 10 years. Social Security determines your benefit amount by your high 35 years. So you're going to have 10 years of money in there, but 25 years of zeros. So, your benefit amount is probably only going to be, $300, $400, $500. And what they'll do is they'll just take that out of your SSI check. So it might not be, it's, from my experience, usually it's a waste of time, because again, if you're getting $900 from SSI, and then all of a sudden you find that IRS documentation and you prove it and you get a check for $300, then they will just take 300 out of your 900, and you'll still just get $900, right? You'll just get it some of 600 from SSI and 300 from regular retirement, what you paid into it. So, but it also makes you eligible, for Medicare. But if you're on SSI, and you turn 65, if you're not already 65, then you can apply for Medicaid through the state. And even if you're not insured for Medicare, the state will pay for your Medicare, Part A, Part B, and stuff. So, and that saves the state's money. So, so those are just things you need to keep in mind before you, spend a crazy amount of time trying to find those extra 4 quarters. Robert, Julie, and Marcus, have a great day. Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. Started off interesting, no sound, but I'm charging my wireless mic now. Robert, I will get a CDR every 7 years. Is that common? Yeah, yeah, that's, yeah, it's, it really depends on, when your claim is adjudicated, by, the disability determination services. At that time, they determine, okay, is there a possibility of this person's disability improving anytime in the near future? And then they say, well, yeah, maybe, if the medications work, yada, 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 maybe in a year or 2 years or 3 years or 7 or 10 years or whatever, or never. So they make that determination at that time. Um, so it sounds like every 7 years is for you. But watch my CDR one, and like I said, I'm doing a a long series on disability from beginning to end. So yeah, so watch out for that one. I should have the first one up today. It's just kind of an introductory one, um, but I'll have the CDR up here in a few weeks. Somebody said, I always heard Social Security would not be there for me, but it was. Do you think Social Security will really be reduced by 28% in 10 years, or is it just fear mongering? I did the video on this a couple of days ago about the future of Social Security, Biden versus Trump, and it really depends on y'all. Please you know, so more people get this message. Everybody press like right now. I hate being a YouTuber. Press like, please. I just want more people to get this information. And this, so yeah, it really depends on what y'all do. Again, all of that takes political will, and how do we get politicians to do what we want them to do is we call them up and harass them and say, hey, if you don't save Social Security, if you don't do something now, then, good luck finding a job afterwards, so it completely depends on us, whether it's right now, if everything goes, if nothing has changed, then yeah, we're looking at probably in 10, 15 years or so, 20, 30% cut in benefits. And how that happens is, whether, you probably won't get a cut, but maybe, newer people will get less benefits, and, they usually grandfather, people in that are currently on benefits or close to benefits because, they made the plans already. And so it's the younger people that will get that take the brunt of those cuts. So unless, we demand that the politicians do something. And as I talked about in my video, just, go through my video. It's the one with Trump and Biden's face on it. And I talk about, every day we delay, we have to make tougher decisions. So if we would have done something 10 years ago, it would have been, easy. But, I guess we don't like easy. Lias up to Grove. I'm 64. Can I apply for my ex-husband's retirement Social Security amount, and then when I turn 67, cancel his and go on mine? If he is deceased, yes. If he's not, then no. That's an old strategy, is file and suspend and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So if he is deceased, you can do that. But if he is alive and kicking, then you can't. You have to file on your own, and then you file a spouse claim on for him. You can, if you can file on your own, and then wait to your full retirement age and file on his, so you get the full 50%. You can do that. Watch my spouse video. That's a split strategy. Make sure you watch my spouse video on that. And then you're 64, so you're getting up to 65. You need to start thinking about Medicare as well. Call my Medicare team, and they'll see what's available in your area and get you all set up. So he said, I better be there for citizens. This country gives out billions to other countries. Yeah. Yeah, it might not. Yeah, it might. Thanks for mentioning it. Might not affect current recipients. Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Well, they say life is what happens while you're making other plans. But usually, anything like that, they protect people that are currently receiving benefits and the people that are very, very close to, because you've already made all your your planning for retirement. You're going to have this much Social Security, and you're going to have this much in savings, and yada yada yada. So it's difficult to throw a wrench in that. All right, will my survivor's benefit be affected when I claim because Social Security Administration overpaid my husband? Social Security can kind of go after anybody for an overpayment. Anybody on the record, they can go after. Whether they'll try to go after, but if you can, it's not your fault, and you don't have the ability to repay, then they can't do anything. And Social Security is in the midst of, based on a 60 Minutes story by Anderson Cooper, Social Security with their new commissioner that was just sworn in about 3 or 4 months ago. They're going through the whole overpayment process and trying to see what they can do to make that more intelligible, more fair, more equitable. So Carol Swenson, I am on disability. I turned 62 in December. Will they roll me over into my deceased husband's full or as of 72%? No, they won't do anything automatic. If you're receiving just regular Social Security disability insurance, if you're receiving SSI, then it's a whole different ball of wax. But if you're receiving Social Security disability insurance, because all of this is insurance, retirement, survivor, Medicare, it's all insurance essentially. It's if you have a deceased, if you're receiving disability and you're receiving, let's say, $1,000, and you have a deceased husband where you can get $1,500, then that might be something you want to check out and kick around the numbers. Call Social Security and say, hey, because the earliest you can get survivor benefits is at 60, and depending on when he took it and everything, sometimes it doesn't pay to wait till after 62 and a half because of this weird widow's cap thing. So call Social Security and find out how much those survivor benefits are, and then make your decision based on that. Mahmoud Safi, how much is the maximum number SSI for an individual? Was it nine some change this year? Nine. Had it written down somewhere. I think it's 934 as they came out this year. BB, referencing WEP, even with a CalPERS high pension, the max WEP is, it's so it really depends on how much you're receiving and everything. Let's see here. And pull up 943. What did I say? 934. Those last two. 943. The max WEP is 587. Yeah, I'd have to look at all the numbers and stuff. So for that one, I'm going to be doing a new WEP challenge video in the future. So many people are angry about WEP, but they just don't know what it's about. So that's why. But it's one of those things where people believe one thing for decades, and then if you tell them reality, the truth, they won't believe it because they don't want to believe it, and it's set in stone. How is SSI benefit determined? So that's the welfare program, SSI. So it depends if your income and resources. So if you're a low income person, then you can get up to $943 if you're aged or you're disabled. So it really depends on how much your income is, and again, it's pretty low income. Dan, $14.15 for an eligible individual with an eligible spouse. Yes, good. Yes, thanks, Dan. Can I get SSDI? Can I get SSI while I am working if I can't afford rent and all expenses? It depends how much you work, because when you're SSI, again, that's a welfare-based program, so you can get up to 943. But if you work, whatever you get from work, they just basically take out of that, give or take $20 or so. So, yeah, if you're disabled or you're, as they call it, aged, 65 or older, then yeah, you can definitely apply. And make sure, hopefully you watched my 4 videos on all the other programs and things out there to help people survive on Social Security alone. Close to 50 different programs that I put together in those 4 videos I did on how to live on Social Security alone, which everybody points out, which you can't, and yes, I understand. That's why I put together that list. So, and with YouTube, you have to put something interesting in the title so people actually click it. So, which I hate. I would like to actually just tell people, but then nobody would click it, nobody would get the information. I would just be sitting here talking to myself, and which I do quite a bit anyway. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. 77 people, only got 16 likes. Come on, everybody, like. So this goes out so we get more, so we can help more people. It's our job to help as many people as possible. So please click like, and I know everybody here is subscribed and all that kind of good stuff. And if you want to buy me a beer or coffee, make sure you click the little thanks button there, and I appreciate it. Every little bit helps. All right, what other kind of questions do we have here on our webs on the all right, let's see. LH, have you done any videos on income deeming for single parents receiving benefits for one disabled child? No. Yeah, that's an SSI type thing. Those are, yeah, it's a third time that's been asked this week. Or I don't think it was you asked the same question. But let me write it down here. SSI. All right, add that to my super long list. I haven't done that many on SSI. Yeah, I haven't done that many videos on SSI. I need to do some more videos on SSI. And one of the big things, people always, type in SSI when they actually mean SSA, or they mean SSDI. So, all right, what other kind of questions we got here? I'll just hang out here until we got more questions. I'm 21. Any financial advice? Yes, tons of it. I made a video for people like under 50 and stuff because, yeah, I've seen the end results. I've helped, millions of people out, at the end of their careers, 62, 65, 70s. And I can't tell you how many people said, why didn't someone tell me that, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago? So, it just, put something away, something that, it's very, very difficult to access, except for, emergencies. Pay into Social Security. I know everybody hates, paying taxes, and, because you're paying half of it and your employer's paying the other half if you're working. And, Social Security will be here in the future. It's been around since 1935, and, there's all kinds of different changes. Medicare part of it hasn't started till, the 1960s, 65, and, disability part of it is, relatively new as well. So things have changed on Social Security, and, the doom and gloom, as I talk about on the video, the Wall Street billionaires want you to be, all doom and gloom on Social Security because they want that money. So they want to convince you that it's not going to be there anyway, so give it to us. So, we can, make our crazy commissions and all the rest of it. So, so that's why a lot of young people don't support Social Security because, number one, when you're young, I know I was young once, you're indestructible and you're going to live forever, so you're never going to retire and stuff, and so you don't think of Social Security. But Social Security is not only that, if you get married, if something happens to you, that protects your spouse and your kids for, a long time. If you become disabled, a lot of people on here will tell you, nobody plans to become disabled, that's life being life. And Social Security is there for a lot of people. And sure, it's a nightmare and it's a bureaucratic nightmare and all the rest of it, but if you're truly disabled, then yeah, it's there for you. So plan, prepare, put some money away. Don't depend on any government benefits in and of themselves. Even with Medicare, you need Medicare plans. Even with retirement, you need kind of financial planning. For survivor benefits, you need estate planning and burial insurance and life insurance. That's why I put together separate teams for Medicare, life insurance, burial insurance, estate planning. So if you want to talk to any of those, just call, email me or call my number. I've got it in the description there. Leave a message and we'll put you in touch with someone that we know and trust that will be able to take care of you. Okay. My friend's husband died. He didn't have enough credits for Social Security. He was collecting on the basis of his marriage to her. Can she get a widow's pension or any other benefits? Yeah, no, if he wasn't insured, if he was very, very young, then don't necessarily need the 40 quarters. But if he was older, then yeah, then unfortunately there's no money there if he wasn't insured. Estella, I want to apply for SSI, but I have an account that belongs to my mom, but I have access to money. Will that affect my eligibility? Very likely. So you need to kind of do something with that, because if you have access to it, then you could very well use it for your own living expenses, and so SSI will look at that. Journey with Jackie. Hi, can you talk about the burial plans that are available in California and how to get connected to them? Is it better? Yeah, I think California is always weird. I don't think they do burial in California. Is it better to have term or whole life if you're 60 years old? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of whole myself. I'm always, term, and you don't necessarily need it forever. Yeah, call my my team and the 888-817-0446. Leave a message with your name, state, what you're looking for. My son reviews all those voicemail messages, and then he'll put you in contact with someone that's licensed in your state, and they'll take care of you for whatever you're looking for. So this is it's a two-man team. Me and my son. So he works the back end there. Zero Cool. How about starting late, say 50 years old, besides Social Security? What's another way of getting some money for retirement? Yeah, the old, might want to ask your parents and grandparents about this. There's this old ancient thing called company pensions, right? Where you work for 30, 40, 50 years, they give you a gold watch and pension for the rest of your life. Yeah, those have pretty much been going away since the 1970s. Yeah, so now it's unfortunately it's just pretty much on you. Savings, indexing. You always watch. The Warren Buffett, and he made this interesting challenge to these fancy Wall Street know-it-alls, and he says over a 20-year period or whatever, just, getting a good index fund, you'll make more money than, these billion-dollar financial advisors or something. And turns out he was right. So the safe bet is, yeah, I always like the safe bet, because my personal experience doing this hundreds of thousands of times, you get people that come in at 62, 65 or so, and they said, well, I had a whole bunch of money. But then, this once in a lifetime stock market crash thing, that once in a lifetime that happens like every 10 or 20 years. Yeah, I have talked to too many people that close to their retirement are still, oh, but I can get 10% return on this or 30% return on this. And yeah, once you get closer to your full retirement age, yeah, the boring is better. The more boring, the better. So yeah, I'm putting together a team of financial planners as well, fee-based financial planners. And so basically they don't, try to sell you anything. They just give you your information, but they charge you for their sessions, which is better rather than, getting it free and then, they're trying to direct you one place or the other. So if you're interested in that, again, call and my son will put you in touch with someone. Tim, I just want to say good job. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, appreciate it. Jamie, hi, I started collecting Social Security at 62. Can my wife at 62 and disabled collect 50% of my benefit? If she's 62 and disabled, is she receiving Social Security benefits already as a disabled person? But yeah, if you already started collecting your benefits and your benefit amount is twice hers, then absolutely she can collect up to 50% on yours. But since she's under her full retirement age, she won't collect 50%. She'll, reduced. But hey, money's money. So I would call Social Security and kick around the numbers and say, okay, you're getting this much and she's getting that much. And if she starts her benefits next month, how much extra is going to be? If you wait a year, how much more is it going to be? And that way you can, make a plan. And I'll always say in my videos, you're not, once you, because if you just call Social Security and ask them that, then you're probably not going to get the right number. So you actually have to kind of file a claim. So you have to get an appointment, tell them, hey, I want to file a claim. And then you get the definitive numbers. And then once you get the definitive numbers, if you want to pull the trigger and start it, you say, okay, let's do it. And if and then again, you say, hey, how much if I do it next year? And they say, okay, it'll be, $60 more a month starting next year. I say, oh, okay, all right, we'll do it next year. And then that's it. The Social Security employee will be very, very happy because they don't have to adjudicate your claim. They just, okay, all right, he doesn't want to file, done, end of story. So there's that. And that way you've got a better way to plan. Zero accrual, like a Roth IRA. Yeah, very good. Roth or, a traditional IRA. Yes, those are always good. Index them and, don't do anything fancy. Bitcoin and, but, yeah. Gold and silver, I'm going to stay away from all that. Carol, having a hard time continuing to work due to arthritis in several joints, including shoulder that needs to be replaced. I'm 64. Is it hard to apply for both early retirement and disability? No, you can do it all at the same time. I did a video on that, applying for retirement and disability at the same time. So yeah, and if you're going to do it, you got to do it quick. Because if you call them up this month and your appointment's not until next month or the month after, you're protected for this month, March. And in terms of disability, it takes, unfortunately 3, 6, 9, 10 months, year, whatever, to get approved. So during that time, you can start collecting Social Security benefits. But, if you do get approved for disability, it's going to be reduced a little bit based on how many months you received retirement benefits. So, but some people need the money, while they're waiting for their disability. So, yeah, I would, doesn't hurt to try. All I can say is, no. And at least you're starting to collect your retirement benefits. So watch my video on that. So it's called Rib Dib, retirement and disability filing at the same time. Hello, could you walk through the potential of using an ex-spouse's work record versus my own? Yeah, so if it's an ex-spouse that's still alive, then you have to do both. So you have to file on your own, get your benefits from your own record, and then file for a spouse claim on that person's record. So you have to do both. And depending on how old you are, you could get up to 50% of what that person's full benefit amount is. I just did the two-part series on spousal benefits, so make sure you watch those two videos. Cat Zap. My grandson is Asperger's at 21. He got SSI, but only $465 a month. How do we go about getting a review for a higher benefit? Yeah, they should do that on a regular basis. It's called an RZ recertification. SSI, they'll reach out to you, once a year, twice a year or something, and see if there's any changes. Changes in terms of rent or living expenses or more money coming in or losing money or whatever the case may be. And so, yeah, they'll see if there's any more money on a regular basis. But if he has any changes to his, living conditions, more rent, less rent, or whatever the case may be, then make sure you contact Social Security so they can recalculate and see if there's any more money for him. Absolutely. Jamie, thank you very much. You're welcome very much. Life insurance, when determining eligibility for certain things such as Medicaid, etc., does the type of policy coverage determine if it's considered an asset? Would term still be considered an asset? No. Term life insurance, there's no equity there, so term life insurance would not be considered an asset. And even for Medicaid, most states, whole life insurance, if you have, a certain amount of like burial insurance, they allow a certain amount of kind of, equity for burial insurance too. So each state is a little bit different. MP2, I'm 77. I live with my son. I began my SSI program last July. I contribute to household expenses regarding the RZ. Will I have to go to the office for that review, or can I do it over the phone? Yeah, they kind of prefer over the phone nowadays. Yeah, you can definitely do it over the phone. How often do they do an RZ? It really depends. RZs are based on, just like on CDRs, the continuing disability reviews for people on disability. They're based on the budget, and it's a nightmare. I think in my office, for you new people, I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and it's RZs, it's budget driven. So Congress gives, the agency X amount of money to do RZs, because, to check to see if people are entitled to money that saves the trust fund. So SSI is not a trust fund, but it saves the budget. And so they say, hey, go out there and, we'll give you however many, millions of dollars to go out there to see if everybody's getting the correct amount and make sure people are not getting overpaid too much money. So it's like, every dollar is spent, for those and the CDRs, it saves the agency and taxpayers, a lot of money, so they're good to do. But it really depends on Congress on, theoretically you're supposed to have like once a year, every 6 months or something. When stuff changes, then you definitely have to do it. But yeah, it's really budget driven. So. Zero Cool, thanks, appreciate your advice. I do have a pension plan through work, just want a little extra money down the road. Yeah, absolutely. The awesomeness of compound interest, right? And the awesomeness of hopefully your employer's doing some type of matching program for your pension, and giving you a little bit of free money on the side. So that's a beautiful thing. But yeah, make sure you know because life is life. You know, make sure your family and everybody is protected. Make sure everybody's got health insurance and all that kind of good stuff, because you never know what's going to happen. Cat's out. I really appreciate you sharing knowledge on these difficult to understand programs. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Glad to be here. Let's see. Got a lot of hey, Michael Burrows. Hey, there you are. We thought you already started your job. Michael's going to be working at men's fashion retail, and we missed you for a few days, and we thought you already started your job, and but you're here. Hey, what's up? So you start your job tomorrow. Awesome, awesome. TIZ Ed, with Social Security Trust Fund into the trillions of dollars, who can stop them from getting to that fund? Yeah, us, you, us. That's what I did the video on with the Trump and Biden face. It's the Wall Street financial billionaires, private equity guys. They're foaming at the mouth. They want that $3 trillion, and so how do they get it? Well, they get politicians to give it to them. And how do they get politicians to give it to them? Pay them off, but also, convince y'all, or as they say in Texas, all y'all, that is not going to be there anyway, so who cares? Give it to them. They're white knights, and they're going to come in there with their swords, and they're going to solve everything, and customer service is going to be so awesome, and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I mean, they already did it with, Medicare. Part C, Medicare Advantage, used to be called Medicare Replacement, so Medicare has already been kind of privatized in certain respects there, so yeah. All right. You got a question there, Michael? What kind of socks are you wearing? I still have a lifetime supplies of socks. Always being a boring civil servant, you wear boring clothes. But before I was a boring civil servant, I did different things, and one thing I owned an art gallery in Tokyo, Japan. Go figure, right? And so I was in kind of the art world. So my socks were always very colorful, very strange. So all my employees on any type of birthday or something, my employees would give me outrageous socks all the time. So I always had outrageous socks. So if I'm answering a question here. Somebody asked me a question about my socks, and I'm answering a question about my socks. So no, I cannot show you my socks today. All right. What other kind of questions we got out here other than my socks? We're descending into chaos here. All right, let's see here. I just put up this video on the short on customer service getting 100 times worse in the future. Only 11 people watched it so far. It's only been up 30 minutes or so. So, what are you going to do? All right, so any other questions out there? Remember to subscribe to my channel, to like and all that kind of stuff. And the reason, one of the reasons I like people to subscribe to the channel is because, you might not have a question now, but I guarantee you it's one of those things where, if you throw something away, you need it like the next day. So if you subscribe and then next week, next month, your friend, relative has a question on Social Security, it's there's so much stuff on YouTube and every other places. You're like, okay, where was that guy again? Yeah, that weird guy that was talking about his socks at one time, but he knew a lot about Social Security, Medicare, and stuff. How do I find him? But if you subscribe, then yeah, you'll see me all the time. So be right at your fingertips in case you ever have any questions. Oh, okay, Jamie, sorry I have to revisit my question. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah, I forgot to mention that she is receiving disability benefits and the amount is less than half of my, will she be able to receive half of my? Yeah, up to half, yeah. But that'll be based on her early retirement because on spouse benefits, it's not a disability type thing, it's a spouse. So she won't receive the full 50%. So I would, again, I would call Social Security and once when you call to schedule an appointment, the 800 number, whatever, if you ask them at that time, it says that question, they're not going to be able to answer you. Or if they do, they'll give you the wrong information, so I wouldn't even ask it. Um, so I would just call and say, have her call and say, I would like to file a spouse claim. And they'll ask her social security number and your social security number, and then they'll immediately be able to see whether there's any money left there, and you say there is, that hers is less than 50%. So then they'll schedule an appointment, and then it'll be a phone appointment. Somebody from the local office will call you, and then go through all the details and actually go through the claim process and get the definitive numbers and be able to tell her again, start next month this much, start a year from now this much, and then you can say, okay, well, thank you very much, let's think about this for a few days. And you have what I always talk about is this protective filing, that you don't ever feel pressured to make a decision right there. Say, okay, well, thank you for the information, let's think about it. And they'll say, oh, okay, cool, awesome. And then you can think about it for weeks, and then call back, and some people call back and says, okay, yeah, I've thought about it, let's go ahead and do it. But obviously I wanted to start when we first talked. So yeah, right, I gave you a subscriber. Yeah, appreciate it. I'm 30 and don't need social security advice, but thanks for teaching people. Yeah, you're welcome. You're 30, but yeah, definitely social security, make sure you plan. And if you're 30, make sure watch my video on for people under 50. Don't trust, don't depend on social security alone. There's a lot of other private programs that kind of supplement social security, so make sure you're all good on all of those. But yeah, thanks for joining, and make sure you share with anybody else. How soon would I receive a decision after my exam with an internist for disability determination? So it sounds like you had a CE, a consultative exam with a contractor with the Social Security Administration, and so your disability case is pending. They had you see one of their doctors, and so that doctor has to write up the report, send it to the state disability determination service. And how long would you receive a decision? Yeah, it's nobody knows. Yeah, it depends how well written it is in your condition and how backed up the particular offices are. But yeah, unfortunately, it's when I took hundreds of thousands of disability claims, I took the claim and I said, well, the decision could take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Now, I think Social Security employees are pretty much saying it's 6 to 9 months, if not more. So, Williams Travel, do I have to stick to monthly limit or on first year limit, or can I end year at or under limit? All right, so 62. So let me see if I get this understanding your question. So it's basically, yeah, so the first year you retire, they can use the monthly limit. So if you make $1 million from January to June, but then you stop working or go part-time in July, then as long as you're under your monthly limit going forward, then you're good. So don't have to worry about it. But as I talk about in the videos on this, sometimes the employees don't code it correctly in the system, and then you get a bill, the following year that said, hey, you made $1 million and then some. That's just because you told them that you made it before you started your benefits, but the employee put it in there wrong. So you just have to go down there and say, yeah, the $1 million was from, January to June, and they'll delete the overpayment, and it's not an issue. So, and again, if it's $1 million, then make sure you click the little thanks button down there and buy me a coffee. Jamie, thank you very much for your kindness. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Connie, I've been fighting for SSI since 2010. Holy cow, for 14 years? Yeah, yeah, for SSI or Social Security Disability or, yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Um, yeah, and sometimes, I'm doing the whole disability series right now, but people ask, do I need a lawyer? Um, I always recommend no for the first couple of steps because it's so easy, and it's going to get even more easier to file, disability once I do this series and teach you all the tips, tricks, and secrets. But yeah, for the third stage, the appeal, the administrative law judge stage, I recommend an attorney. But the problem is, the attorneys, they have to get paid. They've got rent and everything too. So if your case is approved, they get 25% up to $7,200. And if it's SSI or something, then they might not get any money. So sometimes attorneys, say, oh yeah, you got a strong case, but there's no money in it for me, so I'm not going to take it. So good luck. So Williams Tell, what if I over 1 month but under the next? Yeah, it's Social Security system is not intelligent enough to pick it up. As long as you kind of, technically you would be overpaid that particular month, but between you and me and I guess the other 100 people that are watching this, if you retire halfway through the year and you already go over the annual earnings limit, then the system might not even catch it. But if they do, then you'll just have to pay that 1 month back. $1 for every $2 you go over. So that's just between you and me. Don't tell anybody. Connie's not going to tell anybody, right? Right, Connie? All right. Yeah, I used to have to correct the employees all the time. We gave training in my office on that all the time. It's non-service months. It's, people always messed it up, and then they got overpaid. And so in my office, it was like, we always tried to go one step beyond to prevent, people from coming back. We actually, I reached out to a company that is, world famous for customer service. And we went and did an event for them, and we answered all the Social Security and Medicare questions. And then we said, hey, return the favor, have your customer service experts come to our office and talk to our employees about customer service. And so they said, oh, okay, yeah, fine. So we had a staff meeting, about 100 of our employees there. And the person comes in and starts off and says, customer service is very important, because if you don't provide customer service, they won't come back, and we need them to come back. We're like, no, we don't want anybody to come back to our office. Once they come into the Social Security office the first time, we want to make sure everything is 100% correct, and so they will never have to come back and then go on, leave their lives. So it's not, it's not we want a regular customer to come back. So like, no, we never want anybody to come back. We wanted to get it done the first time correctly so they never have to come back. So yeah, it's a kind of an interesting little thing. Anyway, if I file for Social Security 3 months before my birthday, will they count the 3 months against my money I'm making working? No. If you file for, so I'm assuming that you're going to file for 3 months before your birthday, but you're actually going to start on your birth month. So, and so you're going to file 3 months and say, hey, start it, this is March, so let's start it in June or July. Then yeah, what you do before you start your benefits doesn't matter. So again, you can make $1 million this month, $1 million next month, $1 million next month. But once you start collecting Social Security benefits, then they look at how much you earn and all that kind of good stuff. So All right, we're coming up on an hour. Let's do one or two little other questions, and then we'll call it a day. I think I've done lives. I actually did two lives yesterday. I tried to do a later one to see if there's any demand out there, and guess what? There was. Yeah, I think I maybe one day when I'm really crazy or really hopped up on coffee, I might do like was it a Jerry Lewis marathon? Remember the old Jerry Lewis marathons? 24-hour one. I'll be on for 24 hours, answer anybody's question. Yeah, that, yeah, I don't. But kind of answers I give at 2 o'clock in the morning, I might go off on crazy tangents then. So I might. How about a 10-hour marathon? Yeah, I don't know about a 24-hour marathon, but maybe a 5 or a 10-hour marathon. So I might do that. Trying to get the word out there best as we can. All right, it looks like all the questions, and so make sure you subscribe and like and all that kind of good stuff, and y'all have an awesome day and a beautiful weekend, and take care. Bye-bye.